So in the today's session, we are going to see about that one, that Azure SQL database overview. So here, that overview of the Azure SQL database. The Azure SQL database, you can say as Azure SQL database as service, since it is available in that our separate resource. So in that our Azure platform, or else you can say that on platform as a service. So because that installed version is available, that resource, separate resource, so we don't want to install that SQL server. The behind automatically that required virtual machine, everything will be created. So here, the SQL server database engine used to run this your database. So SQL server database on premises, what engine is using? The same engine only here also using. The flavors of cloud SQL databases now. So Azure SQL database platform as a service, SQL virtual machine. The SQL virtual machine will be there, which will support for that SQL server database. But database, you have to install it. The machine will be there, which with all required drivers, every setups. So you have to install that your virtual machine in that your software data SQL server database. So you have to use it. So Azure SQL database, the platform as a service. SQL virtual machine is the infrastructure as a service, IaaS. All right. Fine. The features of the Azure SQL database, the business continuity and high availability, auditing, integration with the Power BI, the dynamic data masking, elastic pools, flexible pricing configuration, the Azure hybrid benefit. Each one we are having that separate session very detailing. So on the high level, I'm telling you the business continuity and high availability. You know? So your business data always should be accessible, right? So what I'm doing now, I'll keep the two servers. I'll keep the two servers for my business data. Suppose one server down now, next one will be automatically will come up. Because my business continuity should not be so disturbed. The server should be available all the time. So that we'll keep the two types of servers. One is the primary, another one is the secondary one. Once the primary one is getting down now, automatically the secondary one will come up. So that feature we can do it. And auditing, the auditing feature. So this is for the log purpose and tracking purpose, who and what they are doing in that SQL environment. And integration with the Power BI. Integration with the Power BI, actually your business data, you may have it in that your Azure SQL database. The data you want to use it for the analysis and report development. So that report development, if you are using that Microsoft Power BI, that Microsoft Power BI, we can interact with our Azure SQL. From the Power BI, we can integrate. The dynamic data masking. In our business data, if you're having that any sensitive informations, like the passport number, bank account number, so your social network number, social security number, right? SSN. So Aadhaar number here. Like that, if you're having that any sensitive information, now that any sensitive information, you can hide it. So instead of showing all the information to all the users, we can hide that some of the data to all the users. And elastic pools. The elastic pool is one of the feature in that our Azure platform to share that the memories, the storage memories, the DTUs. We are having that feature. The flexible pricing configuration. So you can select that price options, what you want to do. Based on that feature, the pricing will be calculated. So here, Azure Hybrid is that one. Azure Hybrid is the one. So here, the Azure Hybrid now, so you can use on-premises license also in that your cloud. That feature also available. Suppose you are having on-premises license for that particular number of year, but meanwhile, what you're thinking now, you are planning to so migrate into the Azure platform environment. The on-premises license here, we can use it. That feature also available here. All right. So this type of features are available. Let's see it very detailedly one by one. So first we'll see that one, how we can create that our Azure SQL database, that Azure portal. So here, if you log in, if you open that your portal now, the portal, it will be like this one. So first time, if you log in into that your portal now, it will ask that one. You have to create the account by the clicking the start with Azure free trial. That time it will ask your credential, that your credit card number, that mail ID, phone number, everything it will ask. So here you have to give that one. After giving all the details, your subscription will start as a free trial first. Free trial in 30 days, it will start. After the 30 days, you can upgrade your subscription into that your what is that one, pay as you go. Okay, but now you don't want to register like that one. So for the coming 5, 6, 7 sessions, we are going to use that sandbox server only. The sandbox server, I'll share that link after some time. So how you can log in into that one. So that link, actually, I will share it. So now I'm going to create that the Azure SQL server using the sandbox server. Right? Let's get into that our portal. So sandbox link, I'm going to click. So this link will be available in that your Microsoft Learning page. So from there also you can take it. So I'm going to sign in into our sandbox server to activate. Here, using that my Outlook ID, I'm logging. The review permission, sometimes it will ask. So click the accept. So that Sandbox server is activated. The Sandbox server will be available for the 4 hours. Be available for the 4 hours. Okay. The every 4 hours actually, so it will be expired. Then again you can activate and the new server will be created. So then you can do the practice. Suppose you are going to use that your free versions now. The free version, so there is a limitation. All resources not available in that Sandbox server. So limited only available. The SQL server also it's available. So for the learning, but it will be available only for the 4 hours. After the 4 hours, that server will be expired. The new server you have to create it. Then again 4 hours it will be available. Like that per day, 10 times you can create it. Okay, so you have used one of 10 sandboxes for today. Every day 10 times you can create it. So almost 40-hour server is there, right? Using the same credential, same ID, you can create like that. From here itself, you can navigate to that your Azure portal. That navigation, it's available here. See the sign into the Azure portal. From here, I'm taking, so click that new tab. So the portal.azure.com is the your URL, portal.azure.com. This is the URL. So here, the sandbox server. I logged in using the sandbox server, right? So the sandbox server is there here. And here, the landing pages, you can see some of the services, the resources. So here it is there. So whatever the service or whatever the resource you are going to create, that resource, it will be available here. So the recently used, frequently used resource will be listed out here. The more services, if you want to select now, you can click this one, more service. It will be navigated to that your marketplace. See here, the all services are available here. From this one, you can search that particular resource. Suppose if I want to select that Azure, the data factory, then it will list out. So whatever the keys are matching, so with each resource, all the resources, it will list out here. So here, again, you have to check that one. So what is that record one? So here, Azure data factories, if I'm clicking next, see here, the data factory is coming. The data factory is coming. Why rest of the things are coming now? Azure keyword is there, so that Azure, all Azure related things are coming. The data is there, all the data related things are coming, resources are coming. Okay. This is one of the way. Or else you can click this create a resource. This one also you can click. Again, it will navigate to that your marketplace page. Previous one is the all service page. This is the marketplace. Here you can search. So data factory. So here I can search the data factory. So the data factory I'm searching, it will show same like that one. See, here it is there. Same reason, the data keyword using, the factory keyword using. So whatever the resources are matching with one of this word, all the resources will come out here. So from here also, you can select that your resource. Or else you can come to this left side, this 3 line. Here also available the same, the resource. By default, favorite resources will be listed out here. The extra resources, same, create resource. If you click now, same navigate, so that our marketplace will be navigated. So this is another way. Or else directly you can search it everything from here, the data factory. So it will show that one. So data factories, right? Or Azure SQL database. So it will list out the database for my SQL Server databases. We want to select the SQL databases. So one of this way, you can create that resource, right? So here, for me, the SQL database by default is available in that my landing page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the SQL database. The SQL database, if I'm going to select now, so click the create SQL database. From this page, you have to click the create SQL database, or you can click this create also. That left top, you can see that create option. That one also you can create it. Fine. And the every resource you should create under that one subscription. That is the important one. You cannot create without selecting the subscription, because whatever the resources you are using, that all the resources, so how much level you are using based on the usages, so the cost will be calculated, the billing, right? That billing, it will be applied for that your subscription, which subscription you are creating, you are using. Under that subscription, that all the billing details will be accumulated based on that daily usages. Got it? So subscription should be selected. But here, since you are using the sandbox server, this subscription is a default one. So the concierge subscription is a default one. So you cannot change it. So by default, it's selected. If we are using that our regular Azure portal account now, at that time, first time, the free trial subscription will be there. The free trial will be accessible or available for the 30 days. After that one, it will ask to upgrade that your subscription into the pay as you go. Once you upgrade it into the pay as you go now, after that one, the subscription will be listed out, pay as you go. You can create any number of subscription using that same credit card, but each subscription, whatever the resource you're using, so all will be chargeable. So that cost, it will be deducted from that your credit card in that every month cycle, whatever the date you are starting, based on that one, your monthly calculation, the cycle will be start. So based on that date, automatically it will take that cost from that credit card. Right. This is about the subscription. Then any resource you are creating now, that resource should be created under that one of the resource group. See, in my project, I'm using Azure SQL database. I'm using Azure Data Lake Storage. I'm using Azure Blob Storage. I'm using Azure Key Vault. I'm using Azure Logic Apps. I'm using Azure Synapse. So I'm using Databricks, Azure Databricks. A lot of the resources I'm using. Every resource is chargeable, right? Billable, right? For the usages. So all should come under that my subscription. But the resource group, what? What is that resource group? See, here I'm using one set of resources for the development purpose, right? The same set of resources, I will use it later in my testing environment. The testing environment, right? The same set of resources, I will use it after some time in my production environment. So here, each environment, how I can separate it now? For each one, I can create that separate resource group. Or multiple projects we are working. So my company, so having that multiple projects, Every project, I will not keep it in that one resource group, right? Every project, I will create that separate resource group. Separate resource group. That resource group will have that all the resources. The resource group you cannot create without selecting the resource group. So you have to create that resource group first. So here we can take that example like that one, dev environment. I'm going to have that separate group, and testing QA environment, I'm going to have that separate one. And then in testing production environment, I'm going to have a separate group. So the resource group should be there. But here, I don't have any resource group now. The default resource group is there since they're learning server now. Here also, they are not allowing to create that your resource group. They will not allow because sandbox. They will not allow to create. But in that our regular subscription, we can create our resource groups. We can create that our resource group. But here, we can use that one, the default one, what we are having. Okay. So that default one I have selected. So under this one, I'm going to create my, under this one, I'm going to create that my SQL server, the SQL database. The SQL database, I'm going to create this default resource group. Default resource group. Fine. Here, I'm going to give the name. So I'm going to give the name. Any name you can give it. The project related name you have to give it for your database. The database mostly admin team will create it. Suppose the admin, so you are going to take that responsibility of the admin part also, no? Then you can create that one if they're allowing you. The naming convention, everything, they will instruct you what naming convention you have to follow in the project. Usually, the project related name we will follow with a proper naming convention. Here, simply I'm using that one demo DB. The demo DB is going to be that my database name. See, the database, if you are going to use it now, that should be a database server, because under the server only your database stored. So the database, if you're going to create now, first you should have that your database server. So I don't have any database here. So that what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the new server. Click this new server. Click this one. And here, I'm going to create the MySQL server database. MySQL server database. So this database server name, you can give it anything. It should be a unique name globally across the Microsoft Azure. This name should be a unique name, because same server name, so someone cannot use it for their company, right? So it will not allow. So here, I'm going to create that one. My server name in this name, SQL Server Siva. Yes, same thing. The project related name, you have to give it. The SQL Server Siva.database.windows.net going to be that your server name. The server full path details, if you're asking now, this is the name. The SQL Server Siva.database.windows.net. And the location. This is also important. Depends upon that your business. Because Microsoft having data centers in different locations. The different locations, they're having the data centers. Okay. So the data center they're having in India. The data center they're having in that US. The data center they're having that UK. So like this, they're having different locations. The data centers they're having the different locations. See which data center you are going to use. You have to choose the data center which is nearest to the customer who going to use that your data frequently, right? Based on that your access, so that based on that your users, you have to choose that one. So a lot of storages will be there in every data center. So a lot of blocks will be there. Okay. So this may be so India Central. This may be US East. So here, this may be that US West. This may be that UK something. So a lot of data centers they are having. Which data center you are going to choose? So you have to choose it based on that your customer. We are having this much amount of data source locations, data center locations. Okay. By default, the East is selected. I'm going to go with the default location, the East US. Suppose the database which one going to be used with that is user this database. If your users are available in that UK, and then that UK related that Europe with one, so you have to choose that one. Fine. Then authentication. How you are going to access this database server? Are you going to use that one Active Directory authentication or SQL authentication and Active Directory authentication or SQL authentication? It depends upon that your project. So I'm using that SQL authentication, right? So here, so I'm going to give that admin name, the admin name. So here, the admin name, I'm going to use this one simple name, the admin Siva. The login name, you have to mention that one, and password for that admin name, admin login. So confirm that one. Then click OK. Then click OK. See, here it will ask, want to use that SQL Elastic Pool or not? So this one. As of now, the default no. Later we will see this one when we have to choose the S. And this workload environment, am I going to use that one development purpose or production purpose? The production purpose, if you are choosing now, the cost, it will be that estimated cost, it will be this one, this $372.797 US per month. I don't want to go with that production. I'm going with the development. The development, the estimated cost, the $4.78 US per month. So development cost, it will be low only. So $4.78 US. So selecting that one and compute and storage, this is the one going to be tell that your the database, the virtually actually the behind it is going to create that on virtual machine only, right? That virtual machine, the compute plus storage option. So you can choose that options. We are having that options. What configuration we want to select it based on that configuration options, what you're selecting based on that one, this amount will be calculated. And backup storage, redundancy copy, the zone wise zero redundant, local redundant backup option available. So by default, as it is, I'm leaving except this or cloud environment. Okay. Then click the review plus create. The review plus create and go to the create. The database will be created. The database will be created in the name of demo DB, the demo DB. So initializing the deployment. The deployment initializing now, actually I told you, right, in the internally, the behind, it is having that virtual machine. In that virtual machine, this configuration setups, everything is deploying. So it will take some time. So this is what I have mentioned here. So what steps you have to follow? See here. So first you have to log in into that your portal. So the portal. So you have to search that your resource from the search window. You can search that your resource. So select the create a resource, type your SQL database in search box and enter and click create. So you have to click the create. Yes, this one. This UI, it was taken long back. So that old image. So after that one, many times that version upgraded. So, but the create option is there. So create. If you create, then this window will be opened. In this window, as I told you, the subscription and resource group. So you have to choose that one, then database name, then server, and this is elastic pool option. So compute and storage. So the server creation, if you click the server creation, so that another window opened, right? That another window here, you can see that one. So like this, you can create that your resource group. Once the deployment is completed now, it will show the window like this. It will show that one. Let's see what happened. Yeah, it's almost. Yes, the deployment is completed. You can go to the resource. You can click the go to resource. It will be navigated to that your overview page. So this is our overview page. I can see that overview details here. Select the overview. So here, the server name, you can see that one. The server name we have created, the SQL server siva.database.windows.net. We have created, right? That's online now active. Which location we have selected? East US. The pricing tier option, the default one was there. The general purpose, it is showing like that one. This is a subscription ID. Every subscription will have that separate unique ID. So this is a default subscription ID. It will be available for your subscription also after that one, creating that your account. That's it. Now, what I want to do. The query editor window is there here, right? The query editor window, I'm opening in that new tab. This is the one we can use it for writing that query. Here it will ask for login. That SQL authentication we have selected and login details also we have provided, right? So that username and password I'm passing. See here, I'm clicking this OK, but it will not log. So because the instance specific error occurred while establishing a connection to that your SQL server connection was denied. Since any public network access set to yes. So one thing you have to do once you create that your SQL server now, first thing, actually because during the creation time also we can set it, but we did not set anything during the creation time. That setup, the server firewall setup, you have to do it. That setup, you can click here and here you can do it. The public network access disabled. That means this server will not be accessible for anyone. It will not be accessible. So I'm going to select selected network option. Okay, the selected network option I have selected. Click the save. I'm not going to select anything. Click the save. Now come again. I click the OK. Now, cannot open the server SQL server Siva requested by the login. Client with IP address is 106.198.125.161. So this is my system IP it's taking. Is not allowed to access the server. This from this IP address, you are trying to access this server, but you don't have the permission. This IP don't have the permission to access that your server. So to enable the access, use the Azure portal or run sp_set_firewall_rule on the master database to create a firewall rule for this IP address or address range. We don't want to make this complex. We can use that our portal. What I can do it now? Come here. You can click this one. This link, you can click it. Then this IP will get that permission. So allow list, it will be added. Or else, they'll come to the firewall setting page. What you have to do now? The firewall rules, add your client IP. Add your client IP. This is our client IP. So that system where you are working, that system should be added in this firewall rules, then only that your server accessible. So it should be added. Then exceptions, I'm not going to select now. Click save. Click save. Now, I try to click the OK. Yeah, now it's logged in because my IP added in that firewall rules. So now I'm having permission from this system. I'm having the permission to log into that my server from this system. Yes, here you can write that your query. You know that one, the basic query, simple. I'm going to create the table. Create table, my table name. The table, if you are creating now, the column name you have to mention the customer ID, customer name. So here, the customer location, it is going to be that varchar text type values. The normal query. You can run this one. The table will be created under this tables folder. See here. Like this, you can create the table. So if you want to insert the record into that your table now, yes, insert query is there, right? Insert into your table name and then values of 1, comma, the name, comma, the location. So the location, comma, select and run it again. This line alone, I want to run it. That's what I have selected, this line alone, and click that run or shift enter from that your keyboard. I want to see the data. Then you have to write that select statement. Select star from your table. So run it. So here, see here, I'm having the data. This is the way you can use your Azure SQL database. In the Azure database, the firewall setting, you have to do it. That query editor window, you can use it for writing that your simple queries. The complex queries and multiple tables involving none, this will not help. That time we have to use that our external tool only. I'll show you one by one slowly. So this is the way we can create that our database. Okay. So we can create the database. In the database, we can create that our table. Everything we can do it like that one. Fine. So the configuration and features, what is the configuration? What is the DTU, vCore, the SQL database continuity, so same thing. So here the elastic pools, everything we are going to see very detailing. So each topic will take that individual session. Okay, then only we'll come to that our big data introduction. The big data not just common. We are not going to discuss about the Hadoop. What is the big data? So volume of the data, big size volume of the data. Everything we are going to learn it. Then we will come to that our Azure Data Factory hands-on part. This is the flow we will follow, but we have to spend more time, at least 3, 4, 5 sessions. We have to spend it and this Azure SQL. Then only we'll go with that our Azure Data Factory. Got it? So that's all for the day. The further level, so detailed, part of using this SQL, we will see it in that our next session. So that's all for the day.